in all seriousness, this is a really important point that I keep forgetting. This is important for me to keep remembering. And I try to remind other people of this as a reminder to myself. The capacity of a human being to heal, to transform, and to overcome is tremendous. It's tremendous. It's truly a miracle how adaptable we are. For all how stuck we can be, we have in our core the seed, the potential to truly transform, really do. And you can fuck up a lot of things, and your story isn't done, right? I mean, we bring this up self to remind myself all the time. You say about you have to remind yourself with, your daughter. I look at my kids when they watch, an hour TV, and I get a little tense. And then I go, I was watching 12 hours TV like every day, all day long. I was doing nothing else. So I used to believe that everybody can be everything they want. It's not black and white like that either. I do have certain genetical talents that allow me to overcome some difficult, conditioning, let's just say, right? But not everybody would just do that necessarily. It's always a combination of many, many factors. But the reminder that has to keep running is you're okay. You're actually okay. Whatever the fuck is going on in your life right now, you are okay. Oh, you're currently feeling slightly depressed? You're okay. That's okay. Oh, you're irritated right now and angry about something? That's okay. Oh, you feel like you messed up this situation at work, or you messed up the situation in your love life? You're okay. That's okay. Oh, you broke your word. You did something really shameful. You fucked something up. You treated somebody badly. You broke somebody's trust, did something terrible. That's okay. You're okay. You're okay. Things can be changed. Things can be worked on. And what you're currently feeling or what you're going through is something millions and millions and millions of people have gone through before you, are currently going through, and will go through for eternity. It's okay to be unproductive. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be upset. It's okay sometimes to be an asshole. Every single human being on this planet has been an asshole to somebody, even the nicest people. Even the Dalai Lama, as I recently learned through another person, the nicest guy sometimes maybe doesn't answer a question when a question is asked, and then the person might think that they're being ignored, and they feel like, well, the Dalai Lama was a bit of a douche to me. Everyone has done something that somebody else felt a certain way about. Like, it's okay. We're all okay. I think the thing that makes everything harder is when we think what I'm currently feeling, who I am right now, is not okay. It's some core level rotten. Like, I am not okay. Not saying that you can be a douchebag and saying, this is cool. I can do whatever I want because other people have done it before. That's not the flavor of this. But I don't believe that when people believe that at their core, they're bad, or what they're currently going through is some sinful thing, how has that ever led somebody to act better, right? If we don't believe that we have it in us to feel different and to act different, if we don't believe that in ourselves there's a core that's okay, there's no possibility for change. There's nothing that would make us change if we thought it's impossible, if we thought that we're already like the situation's already gone. And I don't even want to talk about the extreme cases. I really just want to talk about the everyday little bullshit. You're irritated. You were not as nice to this friend. Maybe there's many areas in your life that you know you could be better. You could be better syndrome. It's all the areas in your life where you know you could be better. And because you're not better right now, for whatever reason, you feel terrible about yourself. You feel ashamed, you feel guilty, you feel angry, you feel depressed, you feel, I know I'm better than this. I should be better syndrome is a huge detractor from actually being better. It's the thing that makes you worse. It keeps you worse. It's the, why am I not better? Versus if we could just be more accepting and more okay with, well, clearly I wasn't this moment. Let's see what I'm going to be next moment. Like, clearly this morning I was not better. I would have been, but I wasn't. So clearly I couldn't have been better because I didn't. So can I be in the next moment? What will happen next? I know I have been better in the past, so there must be potential for being better in the future. You know, when you look at your child and the child is doing something that isn't working or is doing something that's not, perfect, and they look at you for reassurance. And as a parent, if you're a good parent, a beautiful moment is when you look at the child and you go, it's fine, keep going. Like, you're doing okay. Even when they're doing it wrong right now, you're like, you're doing okay, keep going. And they believe you and they keep going, and then they figure it out, or then it works out better. That's a beautiful little dynamic. It's that reassurance. Hey, keep going. It's okay to mess it up right now. It's okay to not do it this well. It's okay to be unsure or to be insecure. Just keep going. You'll be fine. That sort of like reassurance is something that most of us have not gotten enough, I guess, and hence cannot provide to ourselves. Like, we're not great primary caretakers of that reassurance to ourselves. We're usually constantly naggingly doubting, I'm not sure if I'm okay. Why am I this way? This is not okay. This is not good. Why is it not better? I could be better. This could be better. This shouldn't be this way. After everything that I've done, why do I still feel moody today? I shouldn't be depressed this morning. There's no reason for it. Why do I feel this way? That's sort of like, you're not okay. This isn't okay. You're not performing to the level you should. And there's something inherently wrong with you. You should feel terrible about this. That's what makes us, fall deeper and deeper into these holes, dig deeper and deeper and deeper until this little puddle has turned into the Grand Canyon and there's no fucking way out of it anymore. Reminding myself, you're okay. It's okay. I was talking to my mom the other day. She was telling me about some friends and how those friends are, interacting with their children. My mom has this guilt complex that she was a bad mom, partially because she let us watch so much television and made a lot of mistakes, in her opinion.
That's funny.
Yeah. And my mom also cannot accept when I tell her that she was a great mom, right? She's like outright rejecting that. So she has these friends and they have these little children. And then she was telling me the other day how she was seeing certain things these parents were doing to the kids that she didn't agree with, but she tried to keep it inside for a while. And then just recently, eventually, she couldn't hold it in anymore. And so she told them, hey, I think you're doing this and this wrong, and I don't think this is good for the child, and da-da-da, and this and this and that. And then a conversation. And now she's like, you know what's funny? Now, every time I'm around, I feel like they're uncomfortable when their kids are around and I'm around. And they are also in this one area where I criticize them. They're now overly nice and overly different, sort of like to prove to me that it's not this way. And she was asking about, what should I say? What should I do? I really feel like this isn't good for the children, and da-da-da, and this and that and the other. And then I talked to her about this fear that somebody's ruining these children or messing them up. That fear is normal. And of course, when somebody does something horrific to a child, you need to step in and protect. Or if somebody's open, curious, or willing to learn from you, and you have another perspective to offer, you should offer. But that fear also comes from the basic perspective that we can be broken, and what is broken will stay broken then forever. So we should have this panic because children are porcelain, and when we break them, that's it for life. And
irreparable damage.
Yeah. And that's a mindset that creates so much tension and fear, and is then a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts, that it creates that impression that, there can be something inherently broken and wrong with you that can never be overcome, that's forever there. And, it's funny. I was talking to her because this couple has an older child, and I was asking my mom, when their oldest, when he was being raised, weren't they the same way to him? My mom said, yes. And I said, did you have the same concerns with him? And she said, yes. Did you ever voice it back then? She's like, no, back then I didn't. And I'm like, and what happened with that kid? She's like, he turned out great. And she said it in a sort of like, what she didn't say is the word surprisingly. That was the word in brackets. That kid turned out great. Despite all the mistakes they made, that kid turned out great. I said, you know what's funny? That kid turned out great. We attribute zero to that to the parents because we say, they're not really great at raising it. If he had turned out bad, we would have attributed all of that to the parents. The truth is, we don't fucking know. Of course, we know that parents have influence, but we don't know what every child needs. We cannot live a child's life or a parent's life. These things are outside our control. But what isn't outside of our control is to look at people and at children and either think, you're so powerful, so magnificent, such a wonder, so incredible, that even if some of the circumstances aren't perfect or you have some weaknesses right now, that's not the end. There's so much potential. It doesn't mean that all that potential will be lived out. Maybe, maybe not. But you have potential. And I don't have to be and live in fear when I look at you just because something isn't right. Because people pick up on that, right? Children especially pick up on that. We have three brothers. Two of the three are by nature, whereas children, more confident, more loud, more aggressive. And one of them naturally was more sensitive, more calm, more reserved. My mom, as a child, was also very, very shy, very, very reserved. So when she would look at two of her boys being aggressive and loud, she thought, these kids will never have problems. I don't have to worry about them at all, right? Because they are the kind of children I wasn't, and I wasn't afraid of. Like, they were the children that knew what they were doing. And when she would look at my other brother, she would feel worry for him. How am I going to make sure that he is not a pushover, that he doesn't become the kind of child that other children take advantage of, all that stuff. And because of all that worry, she was constantly trying to make that brother stronger, more confident, was coming up with ways to instill confidence and strength in him. You know what? Mostly of what that brother remembers of his childhood in terms of the energy from my mom was she didn't believe in me. She looked at you guys and thought, you guys are great. And then she looked at me and she was like, this guy isn't. Like, I have to worry about him. That's what he remembers. Like, he remembers people worrying about him. Nobody feels great about people worrying about you in this kind of a context. It means something is wrong with me, right? That's something we don't consider when we look at people we worry with and go, oh my God, there's something fucked up. That is a big influence that we're projecting towards them, especially with children. Versus, how powerful it can be when everybody's looking at a child and thinks this child is a risky case. And then they meet one adult that looks at them and thinks, wow, there's something special here. How many stories have we seen where it just needed one adult to think you're special to change your life, want to believe in you, to see that specialness in you, that you can then recognize yourself and, locate yourself because of that reflection of an adult. When all the adults, all they were seeing and locating within you was what was broken and what wouldn't be fixed, right? There's such power in believing in people, believing in the potential of people. And even when we see that certain areas of life people might be struggling through or might not be in an ideal position, if we can look at them and still think, they're going to be all right, because we believe in them, because we think, this person is so smart. This person's going to be all right. This person is so strong. Even if they fail at this, they'll be all right. Maybe this is going to be a good thing. It's so powerful. This is one of the most beautiful gifts we can give to others. And of course, to ourselves when we're at that level where we can provide that to ourselves. I'm okay. It's fine. But shouldn't I be better already? Apparently not. This is who I am right now. You know what? That's fine. It's fine. Who I am right now is fine. Truly believing that we are okay and other people are also okay. It's one of the hardest things to truly believe, apparently, because I don't know anybody who really believes this, who truly believes that I'm okay and you're okay. Like, we're actually okay. Not in some sort of, let's ignore what could be different, but just in a, let's not worry so much about each other and let's be much more excited about each other's potential and let's believe more in each other's specialness. And then, even when you fuck things up, they can be overcome. If the person is ready and want to, they can be overcome. And also, this is something I was telling my mom, I've come to understand this now that I really don't believe you could, no matter what you do, every human, every soul will collect a package of burdens as they are on this planet living life. And if you are the perfect parent and if you create the perfect childhood, that will be the burden, right? There's going to be a burden. Something will fuck up your children. Like, they'll have a package of potential bombs and fuck ups. And then hopefully there are a bunch of things that could be, that are blessings. And what they will do with those, that's up to them, right? We as parents, of course, we want to give them some blessings, but not too much, not too many, right? Because then that will turn into big burdens. But that idea that somehow you could design and create the perfect childhood where you are so mindful and thoughtful and so brilliant and you give your children so many advantages and you're so amazing to them, that itself is such a childish, distorting, also very tense approach to raising humans. They become your career. You're trying to ace their childhood.
Zero mistakes in this parenting game.
Your childhood and your life, whatever. You are my child. Your childhood is my parenthood. That's really what it is it's not your childhood. It's my parentinghood. That is what's at the core of this. And I'm going to ace this. I'm going to A+ brownie points, best in the world your childhood. Yeah.
And they're going to write a book about it. Zero mistake parenting.
Zero mistake parenting. I love it. Doesn't that sound like the kind of parent we all want? That sounds fun. That sounds so much fun. Yeah. That doesn't exist, and it doesn't have to. It doesn't exist because it doesn't need to exist. Because we're pretty strong fucking things. Like, look at our body. Like, we can get cuts, we can get wounds, all kinds of bacteria. There's a gazillion, living creatures within our body and outside of it, attacking it at all times. And, not that we are indestructible. We can be killed. We can be hurt. We can be injured. But we can also, and consistently and all the time, we're healing, we're fixing, we're overcoming all the time. And we're forgetting that too often, especially when we look at ourselves or others and we think there's something wrong here. Or, oh my God, Ramin, I stopped taking my 37 supplements every morning and I can feel my performance have dipped 3%. And I'm a little worried that my blood test next quarter will shut the fuck up, dude. Just breathe for a second. I'm not saying don't take supplements. I take supplements, right? Just take supplements and work out and do blood tests and do all that cool shit, but have some fun with it, play and believe at the core. Not that you're some machine that needs to be perfect, because to have to be perfect, it would mean that you can't heal, you can't fix, and you can't overcome. The environment has to be perfect for you to exist or to function correctly. Nothing could be further from the truth. We're pretty sturdy machines. We're not some pristine thing that is in a sterile lab that, if a dust particle settles on it, it breaks, and it can never be repaired.
We are like miracles, actually, right? More than machines. In everyone that I love, I see this miraculous capacity. I forget about it, especially when I'm concerned or worried, right? Then I forget, oh, this is a miracle, but you're a miracle, I'm a miracle, right? But it's so easy to forget in everyday life. Remember that the fact that Peter is now decided to do this. Oh my God, he's not a miracle anymore.
He's going to break. Did somebody tell him he's going to break? Oh my God, I think it's too late. He'll break. If he's broken, Peter, it was so nice when he was Peter, but now he's broken. What are we going to do? Oh, it's terrible. Yeah. Peter is fine. And even if it breaks, like, breakage is part of how us as miracles unfold, right? It's the saying that many of us break and we get strong at the broken places. Again, the most broken human, even as a physical organism, would be a human that has never been attacked by a bacteria, by a virus, never had a scratch, never had anything, like a pristine kind of sterile thing. It's a collapse. It's not what we're built for. That is not what allows us to express the miracle of life as a human. It's not that. That is something else. That is some alien idea we have. But true miracle of life is in that recognition and awe that, holy fucking shit, isn't it incredible that you exist? Like, that alone is a miracle. And then how many versions of you have existed? We pretend that we're like a singular entity. Whoever you are right now, Ramin, as if you're just, we're beamed down on earth like this. And you stay like this for 60 years, and then we beam you up to someplace again. But there have been thousands and thousands of versions of you, a baby version, a 1-year-old version, a 7-year-old version, a 13-year-old version. And these were distinct identities, that markers, that maybe a name, maybe some DNA, some similarity to the current version of Ramin, but they were not the current version of Ramin. Right. And there were many, many versions.
And so many of them we've forgotten, right? And we couldn't even recognize. Can you imagine, like, being in the state of mind as you were as a 3-year-old would be the wildest trip.
It would be the wildest trip. I wonder if, even as we look back, that's why the past doesn't really exist as a static form, right? It's a never-ending, morphing, living thing, because we construct the past in the present. And even when I think about my 16-year-old self, let's say, right? Maybe I don't even have to go that far back, but like, whatever. Even as I think about that version of myself, the way that I think the 16-year-old version was, the simulation I run in my mind about who I was, is not true, because it is coming from the computer of who I am today, right? Yeah. That simulation was probably dramatically different when I was 20. I just cannot remember anymore. Like, the only computer I have that I remember is the one, my current model of the world, my current mind. And so right now I feel almost like I've always, 16-year-old Sully was always sort of this, but that's not true at all. That is not true at all. And we would have to be truly able to travel back in time and be us really in time to even have a chance. And even then, we would only experience our 16-year-old self from the whatever the version today is that travels back in time, right? The moment that 3 weeks pass, maybe I'm in a different state, something new happened, I've changed again, my version has updated. Now I'd have to travel back again to the exact same moment to see the difference, right? To see the difference in experience. There's millions of versions of us, even in little iterations. And we have no idea. There's no who I am, who we are is not outlined that in some way that's static. Okay, this is it, and this will always be it. And that alone is incredible. That's like fucking mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing that we are really beings that live in many, 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 many versions. When we are in our, hopefully we live a long life and we're in our 70s, 80s, 90s, that's a totally different, it's going to be a completely different version. There's going to be some connections, similarities, things that will make us go, yeah, this is Stelly as an 80-year-old. This is still the same human or same identity. There's some markers there. But in reality, if we forget about the name, if we forget about any kind of a concept, if you were an alien and you saw my 2-year-old self, my 16-year-old self, my 40-year-old self, and my 80-year-old self, you would not be like, this is the same thing. You'd be like, those are totally different things. This is a whale that turns into a kangaroo that then turns into a mosquito that then turns into a bird. Yeah, it's all animals, but it's so different. Within that idea or realization is the seed to realize we are amazing. You are amazing. And even in the shittiest version that you can live through, and the why am I feeling down when there's no reason? And why didn't I do my taxes this morning? And I promised an email I didn't send. Even in that, like light, shitty version of yourself, you're incredible. You're okay. You worry too much. You're okay. Just lighten up a little bit, loosen up a little bit. You'll be fine. There's another moment, a next moment, another day, a next day. See what happens next. See who you're going to become next and be next. When we can have that playful lightheartedness and that recognition of potential, doesn't mean that we're going to realize everything and be perfect, because that would suck and be boring and not a miracle, but a machine. But it means that we'll get less stuck. We'll be more time in dance, stumble and fall, but more in movement, which is probably what makes us feel alive, versus getting stuck in these moments where we stop dancing, stop moving, because we go, this formation is wrong. This, version of me right now is wrong. I have to, before I move any inch anymore to this music of life, I have to figure out what the perfect thing is. And then I'm like, why am I not moving? Look how stupid I look. And it's just, all we do is we die a little bit. We're just taking away some life and we replace it with a momentary death state until we wake up and remember again to move and lighten up and shut the fuck up and dance.